everybody, this is Matthew Movies coming at you with my review of T2, Trainspotting, the 2017 sequel to the original 90s Trainspotting film. I remember when I heard that this movie was coming out thinking, why? I really didn't feel like the original Trainspotting needed a sequel. I was aware that there was a work on a novel going on, or that it had come out at the time. I can't remember exactly the time frame, but I remember realizing that they were going to make this movie and just being absolutely baffled. And now that I've actually seen the film, I have to say, maybe they were onto something, because I thought this movie was actually very well done. Now, personally, it's never going to have the same gravitas as the original Trainspotting film. It came out at a time, for me, where it just kind of hit perfectly. I mean, obviously I wasn't on the type of drugs that they were on at the time, but it was just an interesting peek into the world that I didn't know anything about. So I thought it was just perfect, and that between the music and so many interesting scenes. I mean, the fantasy scene with the toilet, of course, is always going to be very, very memorable. So the original film just kind of came out at a perfect time for it to really have some real effect on me as a person. So this film, I don't think will ever have that same effect. But also, it's interesting because this movie actually works perfectly for someone like myself, who it did hit at that time, because this movie is about those characters X amount of years later, now that they're adults, and some of them have attempted to move on, and some of them are kind of still mired in the muck of drug addiction and just the worlds that they've created for themselves, and then them all kind of coming back into contact with one another, and the effect that has. And I thought that was very well done and very interesting, and the places that each character went, I thought made perfect sense for the way that they were set up in the previous film, and the frustrations of so many of them in the previous film. It just, I thought it worked very, very well. I thought the story was exceptionally well written and really, really made sense for the characters that we'd come to know, which I thought was great. I mean, and there were so many moments that kind of played on classic parts of the series. I mean, like where they have the choose life speech by Ewan McGregor's character in this, but also kind of updating it for our modern world. But I thought that was a very interesting scene. I will say I felt like it kind of really spelled out the point of the scene a little bit too much. There was a lack of subtlety to it, but that was also kind of the point of the moment, because he was explaining it to somebody. But I mean, obviously they wrote it to be very kind of spelled out, which I thought was a little bit of a weakness of a moment, but it was also just really cool to see them go back and play on it. I thought it was a very interesting choice to kind of see all these flashback moments of what it looked like when they were youngsters, teens, or early 20s, going out and doing all these things, and shooting it from the neck down, so you couldn't see that there was a different actor instead of just taking moments from the previous film, and also the fact that they brought back pretty much all the main characters, including the one female character from the franchise. I thought seeing Kelly MacDonald back and playing a part in the movie was really cool, because I had no idea that she was going to be in the movie based on any of the trailers or anything I had heard about the movie subsequent to it coming out. So I was very excited to see her kind of join the crew, because she was a very pivotal part in the original film. I just really felt like this was a very good continuing of the story, although I will say I still kind of feel like it was an unnecessary one. But if they were going to do it, I don't feel like they could have done it any better than this, and I was entertained thoroughly throughout. So those are my thoughts on T2 Trainspotting. Let me know in the comment section below what you think, if you were a fan of it, if you loved the original, if you haven't seen it yet and are excited to check it out, whatever. Other than that, please hit that like button, hit that share button. It makes it much more likely that other people will see this review and come and check it out, which would be something I absolutely love, because I love talking to people about film. And speaking of which, if you are one of those new people, or you just haven't done it yet, please hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. It'll let you know when I put out a new video. You can come join the conversation. Other than that, have yourself a good day.